So Dirigible Derby gets pretty insane, and I think these German battleships really are perfect for this game mode, especially the ones with Turtleback. Schlieffen, I think, is still really good, and the secondaries are kind of just OP with their concealment and their range. Preussen and GK having Turtleback and just overall tankiness, plus their long-range Hydro, makes them incredibly good in this game mode, especially when you spawn like I did in this game. Here, I spawned on the very beginning of the Blimp's path, so I am responsible for trying to push it along and carry it through, at least to the middle of the map, and maybe all the way to the end, at least if we survive. This is not very easy to do, since you're basically forced to give broadside to the enemy team if you're going to take this path, especially once the blimp turns and really forces you broadside here in a little bit. Having Turtleback is a huge benefit, and I really like that they made this game mode in this kind of way, making you really have to think about your ship's benefits, strengths, and weaknesses is quite nice. Traditionally, I would just say Ohio is a straight upgrade over Preussen, but in this game mode, it still probably is just a straight upgrade, but here it's at least a little bit closer, considering the really nice Hydro, and of course the Turtleback, allowing us to go broadside without too many issues. There's a ton of DDs in these game modes. You can see there's actually 3 Shimikazes on the enemy team, and they're all rocking different torpedoes, funnily enough. One has the 20s, one has the 12s, and one has the 8s. So very scary, and we're really not sure what's going to be coming our way. But having this Hydro for this gap, this cross here, is very nice. Although, just because you have Turtleback doesn't mean you shouldn't angle. It is very important to mitigate as much damage as I possibly can here. So we're going to turn out a little bit, and thanks to this long-range Hydro, we get to spot some of those torpedoes coming a little bit earlier. And if I do happen to get passed by our blimp, at least there's a bow-in Yamato on our team to help push the blimp along to the next island. I talk about this a lot, island hopping, getting to safe places, quote-unquote, on the map. Really, that just means we're getting to a position where we're limiting the incoming firing angles at us. We're limiting the amount of torp angles we have to deal with, and that's really important as we fail at dodging these torpedoes that were spotted for 6 to 8 kilometers or so. Oh man, I underestimate how quickly these things can slow down some of the time. Taking a bit of a hit there, of course, shows just how important it is to angle. But a Thunderer pushing in, that is going to be a very dead Thunderer. These ships don't have the armor that a Preussen or a Kurfürst has. Yamato, neither. These traditionally weak tier 10 battleships, I would say, are actually really strong here. It really shows to me how good these German battleships can be in this Dirigible Derby game mode. It's just that the meta in the random battle queue really isn't designed for these ships. And just like the Schlieffen, is not really designed particularly well for this pushing kind of role, it's super good in ranked. And especially this 5v5 tier 10 ranked, it's going to absolutely stomp through people, since it doesn't have to really worry about fighting so many people at once and getting focused out by the entire enemy team. You can see the Yamato is holding our blimp at full speed for just a second as I do leave the circle. So the enemy team is going to have a bit of advantage here, but I know I have a safe runway for a little bit since the destroyers are going to be on the opposite side of this island in front of me. I think the idea of this pushing a immune target, I guess, in these blimps is really cool. I've said this a whole bunch already, but I really do love the implementation of this. It gives you a very predictable line to torp on, right? Like, the destroyers really don't have any issues with torping me since they know I'm trying to stay inside this circle and they know the path. But I can vary my speed within here, and I can decide to leave it, maybe have destroyers pushing it. There's a lot of complex dynamic things going on in this game mode, and I really like it. So even without Hydro, I know destroyers are going to be torping this gap. It's just too perfect of a gap to not get torpedoed. And here is the first set. And unfortunately, there's still 3 Shimikazes left. We haven't actually managed to kill any of them. maybe because I spent too much time shooting at other battleships, but regardless, there are 3 Shimikazes left that we have to deal with. But now that we've pushed the blimp this far, I can actually hand it off to my teammates. There's a Petro, there's our own friendly Shimikaze, so I don't actually have to stay inside this zone. So that's why I'm just going to go bow in here. I really love this brawling game mode. It's a ton of fun, and I'm going to be really, really sad to see it go if Wargaming decide to take it out in the next update. But for now, I'm going to really enjoy it. And here we go. 3 Shimikazes, all pretty much ready for us to push in. Our Hydro comes up, fortunately, and I make a bit of a mistake here, I guess I would say. I get a little too greedy to push through this little gap here. I want to have an impact on this game, especially since our Shimikaze just died. And wouldn't you know, here come the torpedoes that are perfectly in line for me to do this exact turn. They were going to hit me eventually, and at least the Preussen has so much HP to start with. And now we're going to get to the real fun stuff. This game mode gets hectic fast at the very end. I love these choke points, this forced closing of distance. It's so much fun, and people tend to make mistakes, myself included, and that's really where the fun comes out. When things don't go as optimally as possible, where you're farming the most damage, playing the perfect position. No, you just gotta full send it into the enemy team, regardless of 3 torping Shimikazes, regardless of giving broadsides to different ships. It's a ton of fun. We're flooding out here. We don't have a heal. But a broadside Montana, the Preussen actually was working pretty well for me. And look at all of these incoming torpedoes. That was scary. But we did manage to win and push this game forward. Unfortunately, my recording software initially messed up. That's why I had to go re-record this. But the score screen is in such low quality. But a really solid game, 180k. And we managed to really help the blimp along and keep it at full speed for as long as possible. Not the easiest thing to do against triple Shimikaze. As for the build in this one, I was actually with my old full secondary spec Preussen. This game happened a little earlier on, so I believe I was running something along these lines. Somewhere in there, I believe, is where I had my Preussen built, and I don't know if that's the best build. I've talked about this in past videos, but it's really hard to know what to really spec these German battleships out for. But the full secondary build is pretty fun. I was running concealment system mod. I was pretty sure that this is a bit of an odd maximize the heals type build that I'm running currently. And I was definitely running auxiliary armaments mod 2 in this one, I believe. And alongside that, I was also running secondary battery. I'm playing around. It's a new ship, and it's a ton of fun to test out different builds. This is a bit of a strange one. If you're wondering what I've got right now, I've actually swapped things. I've swapped things around a lot. This is what I've got right now. I'm actually running some secondaries, but you can see I'm maximizing my tankiness as much as possible. So I'm not sure how good this is. Alongside, I am trying to run range just to get that little bit of extra accuracy, vertical dispersion that is, if you increase your gun range. There was some data mining done quite a while ago that showed that increasing your range of your guns always gives you a slight bonus to vertical dispersion. Some ships, it helps a lot more than others, Napoli and Petro being the 2 best examples of that, but it still does help here. And aiming systems mod 1, trying to get these pretty inaccurate 457s a little bit more on target and like an Ohio. But that's it. Dirigible Derby can be pretty hectic and crazy at times, and I really do love it for that. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.